the block, locking down the block. Can you just tell me one story about you guys going into Bed-Stuy to make this movie? And what was the first reaction to everybody in Bed-Stuy when y'all said, we're gonna make this movie? How did you guys roll? I mean, I know this, but how did you guys handle that going in?
The block that we shot on in Bed-Stuy was in a neighborhood that was a depressed neighborhood, a lot of, you know, the ills that plague a lot of urban communities around the country, you know, drugs, crime, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, everybody in the neighborhood knew who Spike Lee was by then, had seen the previous films. And for the most part, I think we're pretty excited about us being there, except for the drug dealers. So, you know, Spike has always supported the community, and this was another way to do that. And of course, his office was also in Brooklyn, no, not at that time. But we also had security concerns, but we didn't want to, you know, bring police into the neighborhood, et cetera. So what we did was we hired a contingent of the Fruit of Islam, who did the security for us on the film, which is usually done by police and off-duty cops and that sort of thing. Interesting thing was none of these guys were ever armed. They just stood around in their suits and bow ties.
Some bean pies, too.
And sold bean pies. But during the entire time we were in that neighborhood, through all the pre-production, the construction, the set dressing and all that, through the shooting period, there were no incidents whatsoever. The community's respect for the Fruit of Islam was such that they didn't have to do anything. All they had to do was be present.
Didn't you guys also have, like, before you started, a block party?
Yes. But I will say that I do recall one incident on the set where I think somebody pulled a knife or something, and there was one incident, and it lasted about half a second before the guy was disarmed by the Fruit of Islam, who then said to him, "Brother, you need to go, you know, home." and so that's what happened. But anyway, so that's what I remember most. And it was, I think after a while, I think the neighborhood got used to us and was glad we were there.
Win Thomas, who's not here, is another one. We should really talk about, because there are people on here.
Wow.
Here's the team, which we started working together, and she's gonna have it, and we're gonna have many more films after that. Myself directing, my classmate from NYU Graduate Film School, the great cinematographer Ernest Dickerson. The great costume designer, Ruth Carter. Ruth, Robbie, and Ray Dowell. Stand up, Ray. They were all classmates. They were all classmates at Hampton Institute. So I'm Morehouse, Ernest is Howard, and we had three beautiful black women from Hampton. Win Thomas, the great production designer. We all had a charge the how can we use our skills to show this is the hottest day of the summer. So when Win read the script, I said, Win, this takes place on one block. So what we had to do was we had to find a block in Bed-Stuy that had two empty lots facing each other, because we had to build Sonny's Korean fruit and vegetable stand, and then directly opposite we had to build Sal's Famous Pizzeria. So it took him a while to find that block, and but the whole film is shot in one block. And you know, we've been going back to the block a lot the last week or so for this 25th anniversary. Everybody comes back. I was there with Daniello the other day. He said, "Man, I know this block is small, but it's not really a big block." And so there was various. We needed other vacancies on the block too, so we could build the radio station, Samuel L. Jackson, Mrs. Senior Love Daddy, Ruby D, but that was, somebody lived in that house. But and also, we need to have a block that had very little trees, because we didn't want anybody able to hide under the shade. And we wanted, the charge told Ernest, cameraman, camera person, Ruth, costumes, and Wynn Thomas. I said, we're shooting this film in the summer. It's on the hottest day of the summer. It's going to come out the next summer, summer 1989. And when this film comes out, and people are watching the film in their air-conditioned theaters, you want people to sweat. And we did that. How do we do that? Ernest will put butane torches under the lens. You remember the wall with the cornerman, the late great Robin Harris? We painted that wall red. It wasn't like that. And then Ruth with the very colorful costumes. All that stuff was meant to convey that it takes place in the hottest day of the summer.